And so remember to sync the audio, I just need you to clap in front of your face very loud. Okay, perfect.
Wow.
All right. Well, once again, thank you for sitting down in the interview. And, just the first question, I want to start off with something that's, really a great recent event that has happened in your life. And you're now the proud father of a baby boy.
Yeah.
Right? You have your first son.
Yeah.
And so tell me about, just the experience of having your first son, and tell me what is his name and where does his name come from?
Well, this is some story. I mean, first of all, we didn't expecting to have a son at all. We thought after the two girls, we will stop there. And Lady keep saying, that we might try see if we can have another one. She would like to have a son. Like the girls are all mine, so she wanted to have a son. So I think the good Lord answered her prayer. So we happened to have a son, and his name is Jonathan Braden Stone, Martha, of course. And so we named him Joe Nathan after Papa Joe, which is like my adoptive father, and raised me and taught me everything that I know, pretty much, even driving. So that's why I'm so good driver. And I think he is the joy of our family. And it's like it is good as for a man to see that you have a son to replace you and, forge his character, so you can see you through him one of these days. So it's make me very happy to have him around.
And what's your
1 sec.
Okay.
I gotta just.
And we're good? Okay, cool. So continuing, on the subject of family and parenting, what is your philosophy on parenting and how to be a good father? What's the secret?
Well,
and remember to restate the question in your answer.
in order to be a good father, a family man, first of all, is being responsible. Being responsible towards your family. Be there for your family, Take action when it's needed, for your family. I mean, it's like, even in front of God, you are responsible for your family. You got to be there. You need to manage, make things work, It's like your wife, your kids, they all depend on you as a man of the house, The baby even cry, like Princess will cry at night and she will call daddy, And I started with Lisa, that gave me a lot of experience, And it's make you feel good. It's like you're worth something. You see, people depend on you to do things, to make things work, That's pretty much my philosophy about family.
And two things that stood out to me that you mentioned is, it's before God, it's like a responsibility and a calling before God.
Yeah.
And what you get back out of it too, so that stood out to me.
Well, that's what we get back from it is like it's forge your character. And you know that you cannot just went out and do whatever you want to do, because you got to do it where it's fit in the family too. You cannot just try to make it work just for yourself. You got to work for the whole family. You're not just living for yourself, you're living for a family now.
Exactly. And so what do you envision and hope for the future of your children?
Oh, first I vision.
And remember to restate the question.
I envision my family in the future time to see them growing up as responsible person that can be very useful into the society, not only Haiti, all over the world, people that, I will not have all the time to go to the police station to get them out. And, people that will go to school, learn, go to university, wherever in the world, and then come back and serve their family and their nation. That's what I would like. And if God grant me this, I'm praying that one of these days, each one of them will be part of what I'm doing.
And specifically, are you referencing when you say be part of what you're doing? What specifically do you mean, and elaborate on it?
What I meant by part of what I'm doing, what I mean by that is, as you know, I'm working into the ministry, like Joy House Ministry in Gracie. So I would like to see when I get too old to run everything, and so my kids will be there to support me and keep it going on, to win people, win soul to the Lord, which is our mission, to evangelization, to clinic, church, school, all kind of stuff like that.
And what does the Joy House do currently? For those who aren't familiar with it, what does it represent to the community? What does the Joy House do? And later, tell me, how did it originate?
Well, Joy House represents a lot into the community right now. First of all, well, if I have to summarize it, it will be like we are like a lighthouse trying to guide those souls down, It's like people can get their bearing by getting in Joy House, involving in Joy House. For example, into the community, as you know, there's not good clinics facilities and stuff like that. We hold clinics for them. And we teach some kids that cannot go to school. We got a teacher to teach them. We provide jobs for some people. And we got some young men, trying to raise as champions, to go out and win other kids to the Lord. And as you can see, the church is moving up, and the school started, little by little. Surely we'll get there sometime, and we're hoping that we will have some other stuff in the future. Like we're trying to put together like a computer school for young kids in the neighborhood. We got a lot of projects, so surely we'll get there one day.
And so how did the Joy House start? What were the early beginnings, and who formulated the vision?
We started with the idea of Joy House in '98. When I first went on a mission trip up north of Haiti in the region, in the mountain. I met Norma Patterson, and I was her translator that day. So we got involved into evangelization, people heart to heart, And then one day we sit down when we start talking, and she asked me what do I want to do with my life? And she asked me a question, how do I raise? And probably a lot of people doesn't know that I was raised in an orphanage since I was 5 years old. So I was raised by missionaries from Oklahoma. And I kind of tell her about my story. And then we come up, and she asked me later on, after my first trip to the US, what would I like to do for my life? And because I had a choice to stay in the US to study and build up my life there. So coming from that orphanage, there were situations, the growing up kids, they were putting them out, they had no place to do, doesn't know what to do. So I told her, what if we try to do something to help some kids in Haiti, and at the same time we were talking about evangelization church, the way they were doing things, because as I told you, I was raised in an orphanage with pastors, Haitian pastors, that was doing all kind of stuff. So I knew there's supposed to be a change in the way things were running before, into missions and stuff like that. So I want to put my contribution into mission to see if I can change some of those stuff that I've been going through. So we come up with the idea to have Joy House facilities where we can host missionaries that will come and evangelize and teach and do all kind of good works like that in order to bring the change that we're expecting.
I have a follow-up question for you. What I think we should do first is move up a little bit, since the sun is now kind of like showing on your forehead, so we'll have to move up a little bit, don't you think?
I think it. Okay. Sure.
Need to clap again?
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I just.
Okay, you
started
did.
it.
Okay. So go ahead and clap again. Okay. Perfect. And so where we left off, you're telling us about you growing up in the orphanages, and when Norma gave you the opportunity and asked, what do you want to be, what do you want to do, and you were telling us about that. Go more deeply into the change that you were talking about. So the experiences that you made in the missions at the orphanages, and the change, what you took away from it, and how you wanted to change that and create something that you felt like was better. So specifically, tell me about some of the things that these orphanages could have done better, and how you improved, it through the Joy House.
Well, what I meant by change into the missions field in Haiti is, I was, like I said before, grew up in that orphanage. I got some experience, good, bad experiences, especially with a main pastor that we had in the past when in my early age. So, for me to upset being like, for example, if somebody wanted to have an orphanage, in order for me to accept somebody have an orphanage into the mission right now, for me to run it, I will require a lot. There are gonna be a lot of demands. It's take a lot, but I will ask a lot too for that. Why? Because of my past. I know a lot of people having orphanage, misuse kids, do kind of stuff like that. I don't want to part of that. I had to face it myself, and I want to do it. If I'm gonna be responsible for kids, I want them to have a better life. Not the kids you will torture and mistreat. See what I'm saying? These are kind of things like that. Even into evangelization. I don't want somebody to try to tell me something, teach me something, and do the opposite at the same time. So it's like the hypocrisy into the mission. That's one thing I put in mind, to fight. That's why I was referred to.
And one of the beautiful things about a documentary is that a good documentary gives an audience a window into a world that they either don't have access to, or that they've never seen or experienced before. And you mentioned, that the mistreatment of the orphans. I know that, I assume that something like that is something that only those who have experienced it and have had to go through an orphanage can really understand. But help people who haven't gone through that understand, what orphans have to go through in a traditional Haitian orphanage. So what are some of the examples of the mistreatments? What do your orphans go through in a Haitian orphanage?
If we had to talk about mistreatment into an orphanage in Haiti, there's a lot to talk about. Some pastors even use those kids to their own benefit. You will work into something, they will ask you to do things that will profit them. Like, for example, they can even use you to do their garden. And whatever they grow into that garden, you cannot use it yourself. He will sell it out. See what I'm saying? So this is how it's work. And you got to wake up early, go to bed late, all kind of labels like that. I mean, it's not, what I'm talking about is not to have a kid in an orphanage work, to do his duty. But there's a limit to it. See what I'm saying? So you cannot even, like, when it's time to school, the kid's supposed to go to school. You cannot just let him do your personal duty for you. It's like a little slave. Cannot go to school, do not eat well, do not sleep well, all kind of stuff like that. And he beat you up. So that's what I'm talking about.
Wow, I had no idea that things like that would happen at an orphanage. I know U.S. orphanages aren't perfect, and my family, back in Boston, we take in orphans and children who don't have anywhere to go, and we're my mother's a foster mother, to children, and we hear their stories about some of the foster homes that they came from previously, some of the group homes that they came from previously, and it's pretty troubling, but it doesn't compare to what you just shared with me now, which is modern day slavery. And what would you say is maybe one of the more disheartening things that you've witnessed while at the orphanage?
Well, they will punish you for one thing. I will say that's a horrible thing that could happen to you. They will punish you for days for the same thing. It's like they will put you on your knee onto the gravel for hours, and probably the next day they will do the same thing for you for whatever it is you had done. So there were a time in my life in that orphanage. Well, the problem is that pastor was pretty much on his own. Even the missionaries who sponsored the orphanage, they wasn't there pretty much. Sometimes they just sent money, sent stuff, and he was pretty much running the orphanage on his own. So they didn't know what he was doing to us a lot of the time. They trusted him. He uses the money sometimes for his own things, and nothing goes to us. Well, to be short, there were a period of my life into that orphanage. It was like hell compared to what they said in the Bible. And I was so angry when in the 98, 99, 98, I remember I went to a church in Springdale, Arkansas, and the pastor was talking about forgiveness. And it's like he was talking to me for some reason. I said, remember it was Pastor Ronnie Floyd was talking about how to forgive and let your past, don't live in the past, stuff like that. I said, how could you do that? How can I do that? How can I let that guy go into my heart? How can I forgive him? And I said, is God is real? Why he let all those things happen to us, into that orphanage? So I got to go to some Bible study with Joe and Norma. They took me in, talked to me a lot. I had to go to a lot of prayer with them and stuff. So I kind of start to understand it. I went to evangelization class with Brother Tommy Hinson in Springdale, Arkansas. And then I'm trying to put it together, where I easily I'm trying to see if I can manage, not hold grudges against him. But it's not easy. It's not easy. I think that guy, he passed away into the Dominican Republic, but sometimes I wish that he just can be alive. I can see him. I don't know why, but I just expect I can see him. After so many years of his treatment. I'm telling you, that was awful. Yeah. I don't want to see a kid have to go through all this. And that's why each time I got to see my kids, I hold them, kiss them. I just want to offer them a better life. I pray God for them not to be an orphan, till they grow up. I don't want them to live that, to go through all those kind of stuff that I had to go through in my life.
And I'm sure, wow, that's very powerful, and I'm sure, just as you alluded to, just those feelings of not trusting and almost resentment, that's hard to, really grow out of. So my question is, so with the situation with Joe and Norma, um, there had to be some trust there on both sides.
Yeah.
You need Roland? Okay. All right. So
Checking water.
we'll keep rolling. All right. So I have a follow-up question for you. With when you first met Joe and Norma, there had to be some trust there. So once again, tell me about exactly specifically how everything came about, because I know a little bit about the story, but tell me how you met Joe and Norma, and how it came to them offering for you to go to the States, and what it took for you guys to trust one another.
Well, I met Norma at first in '98 on a mission trip in Bombard. They call this Bombardopolis up northwest of Haiti, way up in the mountain. When I met her, like I said before, I was a translator. That was her first time mission in Haiti, and then so I got to work with her, and the pastor was in charge of the group back then. I had to work with his wife and Norma both. So we were after 3 days. We got to switch position. Go to another remote village. So we had a wedding one evening, and after the wedding, everybody was, merry and happy, had a good time. So I sat around, and she came and started talking to me about it. And there were another couple guys from Mulberry, Arkansas, that were asking me, how do I learn English? So I told them I was grew up in an orphanage, and I gotta go to school. And I studied by myself most of the time, to learn more, because that was a way of living for me in Haiti. So I said, well, how come you never go to the U.S.? I told them how difficult it was to get a visa to go there. And one of the guys said this, and they said, what do you need to go to the U.S.? I said, well, you need this, you need that. First of all, you need to have somebody write a letter for you. That person, if it's like a government people, like the mayor of a city, or State Department guy, So they said, well, one guy said, well, this guy is running for mayor in his town. I said, well, he can write you a letter, or you can go to the mayor now and ask him to write a letter for you. I said, well, that sounds good. He said, okay, as soon as we get there, we'll do that. I said, okay. And Norma was there listening, but she never said a word. But till the late evening, she said, well, those guys will, don't bother with them, so I will take care of that. I do not promise, but I'll take care of that visa thing for you when I get there. So I think she left Haiti in March, and then in April I had a visa. And in May, I flew to the U.S. She met me in Florida, and we go to Arkansas. My first trip to the U.S. And then later on, trying to know what are my goals, what I want to do with my life. They wanted me to go to a Bible school, but that's not my calling. Well, forgive me, but I don't want to be a pastor. I let that to Pastor Eddie here. I got to see what he's going through. Anyway, they want me to go to a Bible college. I didn't want that. I wanted to do something else with my life. And then, so from there, we started to build a relationship. I started learning at Ego Body, their shop, learn how to weld, learn how to do things, So from there, we come up with the idea, after several devotion, like I said, we come up with the idea of let's why don't I said, I cannot really serve in the U.S. because the U.S. is full of people already had plenty of knowledge, you know, and there's a lot of people that to do things that I might try to do in the U.S. I said, well, to me, the U.S. is like, how could I say that? It's like it's a living dictionary. You can go and learn, or it's a source where you go and fill up. It's like a service station. You go fill up, and you go somewhere else to use to burn the fuel. You've been filled. So that's what I told them. I would like to be able to come and go in the U.S. You know, in order to help my people here. Because I didn't see me just stay in the U.S., you know, enjoy a good life. And I could have a good life because, you know, I was living very well in the U.S. I had a good life there. But, you know, they're family to me. There wasn't any, you know, difference among us or anything. But I know there's more that I can do with my life by helping others. Because I know what kids got to enjoy in Haiti, what they got to put up with every day. I just want to see if at least if I can make few people, if I can change few people's life. Like I had people change my life, you know. I just want to contribute into other people's life. Like there are people that contribute into my life that I never met, you know. 40 years old, maybe I'll never met them. I know the governments in Oklahoma, Mr. Governments passed away, and sorry, but I don't even have the chance to go to his funeral, but he was a father to me. His wife still alive. These are those people who started the orphanage, you know, in '79.
And so, you know, it's your decision when, you know, you were already in the States, already had a visa, and had the option to choose whatever you want to do, and your decision to come back to Haiti. Is it one that if your average Haitian was presented with this opportunity, what do you think you know, your average Haitian would have chose, and why is that?
Well, I had the opportunity to stay in the U.S. like a lot of my friends did. Before I went to the U.S., I had 4 or 5 guys in the same orphanage that went to the U.S. before me. None of them is in Haiti right now. They all stay in the U.S. I know pretty much average Haitian, on 100 Haitian, maybe you might find 3 that want to come back to their country and help. But you know, some scared because of the situation, political situation, uprising all the time. Even some of them call me when they say, how do you manage to live? How do you go to work? Don't you scared? Are you not afraid? Well, sometimes I am. But I cannot run away from my place, from my country. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even have, not only the U.S. visa, which been canceled because of a residency that doesn't work, but if I was looking for a residency in the U.S., that was just to give me the freedom of just traveling back and forth, you know, back and forth easily. I had a visa to Europe right now. I had a visa to Canada for 5 years. I had one for Panama, I had for Mexico, I've had for Venezuela, even the DR, Dominican Republic. I choose to stay in Haiti. I just want to contribute into my nation to do something, put my knowledge into my nation. I mean, the U.S. got all the knowledge possible. That's where everybody go to get knowledge. So if we all want to go to the U.S., what Haiti will become? I love my country.
And with that statement, so we know that the brain drain is there's complexities to it, and there's different dimensions to it, you know. And I think my question is to you. You know, do the Haitians who leave and not come back, do they not love their country?
I think a lot of Haitians who left the country and never made it back. Some of them they feel they
Hold on one sec.
pull up they here.
All right. So, Roland, go ahead and clap again. Okay, perfect. All right, good to go. All right, so the subject that we were talking about off camera, I thought it was a very interesting one. And we'll jump back into where we were previously, but you know, wanted to continue that conversation that we were having off camera about
Working.
Yes, working and the value of hard work and the what you learn and gain from it personally. So tell me, you know, just about that personal experience and your work ethic and what it teaches you, what you gain from it.
Well, my work ethic that taught me a lot. Discipline, that's one thing. You know, and you know, I know that I need this. I got to work hard to get it. That's how I've been pretty much raised, especially after my the time when I got older. After my time in the orphanage, I get to the U.S. I was working for Joe and Norma. You know, with Papa Joe, you got to work in order to get it. And he always the one that get up early in the house, always on time. He's a disciplined guy. I drove his truck. You never switch the truck into the parking. The blue one got to be here. The white one got to be on this side. I switch them. In the morning, I find them. He switched them back. He's a very disciplined guy. That's what work. That's what he taught. That's how he raised me. Taught me a lot of things like that. You know, and he's my model. And the harder you work, the more you will make. It's like he'll give me the paper, whatever they call it in the US, or invoice or whatever, to make a flatbed truck. A flatbed truck, he might say it will take you 3 hours to build a regular pickup bed. So if I make it in 2 hours, I'll bonus it. So that right then, you know, that will get my attention because I know I got to make more money because I had a life to build up here and I already have Lisa back then in my life, which I have to provide for. So a lot of time I bonus them because he gave me an opportunity. Beside my $750 hour, I can make an extra money. You see what I'm saying? So that's activate me to work harder so I can make more. Because if he just hand it over to me, I won't have too much appreciation for it. But he taught me how to work for it in order to get it. You know, it's not that he never been there for the extra. You know, when we first started, you know, working here, it's all his money he gave to do it. But he taught me to work. He taught me discipline, you know, how to be organized, you know. He'll never go to bed and don't put his uniform, his working uniform ready for the next day. You'll see I go to the dresser, you know, already put everything, his shoes already ready by the stair, you know, to get out so he won't wake up anybody in the morning. That's the way he is. So I learned all those good stuff from him. A very disciplined person. So like we said earlier, you know, in our conversation, it's like to build Joy House required a lot of hard working hours, you know, to put in it. Got to see a lot of guys that smash their fingers, you know, their toes, you know, a lot of headache. One hammer hit one guy around here. And the next day when he woke up in the hospital, he didn't know where he was. You know, we had to praise the ultimate sacrifice in order to build this place on top of this mountain here. But, you know, under the sun, we work hard here, sweat a lot, but that's why we appreciate it so much.
And that leads me to the thought of, sometimes when you read about Haiti and you see specials about it, there's a phrase that's utilized, and some people call Haiti a welfare state, right? Have you heard that term before, that they call Haiti a welfare state, more of a beggar state, people wanting to be given something versus work for it? What are your sentiments about that comment, and its validity? What truth is there to it, and what are your feelings about that comment that Haiti is a welfare state?
Well, I never heard the term before, but it sounds right to some degree.
What term? Remember, you
The welfare.
Okay, so
the-
restate the
yeah,
question and
yeah.
the answer.
Yeah, the welfare term, I never heard it before.
Welfare state.
Yeah, the welfare state.
So we'll start
Yeah,
right now.
okay.
Okay, what are your thoughts when people call Haiti a welfare state?
The welfare state term, I never heard it before, but it sounds right to some degree. There's a lot of people, instead of go to someone to learn how to fish, they rather for that person go to fish every day and hand them over a fish. Me, I rather for somebody to teach me how to fish myself. For example, even our government, there's a law into our constitution. So a valid person stay along the street and begging for money, you should spend at least 2 to 3 days in prison for that. In Haiti, that's the law. If they caught you begging while you're a valid person, all your land, you're in good health to work, you choose not to work and begging, you should spend 2 to 3 days in prison for that. But it doesn't work. Why? They cannot enforce that law. Why? Even the government's beggars. Whatever they want to do, they got to call on Canada, US friends to help them. To fix their road, they need to call Japan to give them the money. But the custom is the highest custom in the Caribbean. Airport, the tax is so high, even if you get a cheap tickets, by the time the government put the tax on it, the tickets become so high you cannot afford it. They make money, but you don't see what the money goes to. They're still begging instead of put that money in good use. So how do the government can arrest somebody who's begging along the street? They beggars themselves. So that's the idea. That's why a lot of people just get lazy. They're just waiting and blame another country. Said, it's because of the US we like that. It's because of France. It's because of Canada. Well, pretty much it's because of our government. It's because of Haitian. This country is the way it is. Men of integrity. That's the lack we have in this country. We do not have responsible men of characters to lead this country. People put trust for so many years in some of them. People do a lot of crazy things for them to get them elected. They trust in them, but shame on them. This is such a beautiful country, right in the middle. It's like we are in the center of the world. Everybody wants a piece of it. There's something good about it. But they asked for help, foreign countries. Canada give them a lot of money every year. The US mostly, US pretty much gave money for everything here. But those guys just pocket in the money, put it in the bank in the US or somewhere else. After they serve their term, and just leave the country and live a wealthy life. But one thing that bothers with me, not to escape from the subject, is, let's say the US put $1 million into the road construction. You give the money to the government. 2, 3 years later, the same road, they ask you money for it again. And you give the money back again? It doesn't work like that. There's something that doesn't. Something is not good in the picture. I will never give my kids money for tennis shoes. And then next month you ask me money again for the same tennis shoes. I will ask you what happened to the money I gave you before. I will try to find out what you did with that money before I can give you, if I'm going to. Before I give you my money, I got to find out what happened to the money I gave you before. But it's not the way it's worked with those we call friends of Haiti. They give money all the time. You heard they gave it, it's on the newspaper, all over the TV stations, and 2, 3, 4 years later, they ask you money to do the same work. And they never bother to ask, where is that money they give? So there's something missing in the picture.
Now, has Haiti always been this way as far as the welfare state status? Was it this way when you were growing up, or is this something that is more new and recent?
Well, I don't think Haiti always been like that, as some people said. They said with Duvalier, the father, it wasn't really like that. Even with the son, to some degree, yes, but it's not the way it is right now. You know what I'm saying? It's getting worse, as I can say. Duvalier, the father, I wasn't there. I was born in 71. It was his son then. But downtown Port-au-Prince was cleaner, a lot nicer. You have electricity 24/7. It was, at least, the country could take care of itself to some degree back then. But now, as you can see, it's going down so deep now. We don't know, But there's a possibility. We can stand back on our feet if we have to. If we got the will for that, we can get back on our feet again. If Haitians want it, you fight for it. If we fight hard enough for it, we'll get back. I hope so, and I believe that.
And that's powerful. That's powerful. If Haitians want it and have the will and the mentality, we can get back. What importance does it play? What does the role of the diaspora, the Haitians living abroad, play in helping to help Haiti get back to, being self-sufficient?
The Haitian living abroad play the main part into the economy of this country. As for now, you probably heard of that, talking about diaspora. They cannot be this, they cannot run into election and this and that, If you are a dual citizen, all kind of problems like that. But if it wasn't for the people living overseas, this country will be already down the tube. They kept kids going to school, they kept families staying in the house, pay medical bills, Everybody in Haiti, you'll have someone in the US to support you. Either a sister, brother, aunt, mom, dad, cousin to support here. But even though all that, there's a hypocrisy. They receive money from diaspora to run this country, and they do not want them to play any part into the government. That's the hypocrisy I call into it. I'm not a politician, but I try to stay away from politics in Haiti because it's a dirty game. I don't want to be involved to some degree, As a citizen, you're already involved to some degree, but I don't want to be an active politician right now. And because, like I said before, it is dirty and dangerous in Haiti. So, if we can use the money of the diaspora, we call it, or people overseas, they can be part of it too. If they send money, it's because they want to see Haiti a better place. A lot of people living overseas want to come back. A lot of them are dying to come back. But because of the poverty, insecurity, They cannot. Education system is sick. Right there is a cancer. It's getting to the bone now. The education. Security is worse than ever. Even government, they're looking forward for people to come and invest money, and you cannot even provide security and electricity. How will people will come to invest money? Even people inside are struggling, with their businesses, Thugs will come to your place, ask you for money. If you doesn't pay, the next day they break in or they burn it, they do things like that. How people will invest? The sad thing is the UN is right here, and insecurity is so high in this country. That's one thing you cannot, it's unbelievable. But, I don't think the UN militaries or police will risk their neck overseas like that. Pretty much the UN is just money. It's just big organization. Everybody come, get rich, go back to their country and live, a happy life with their family. They not come here, to give their lives, for Haitian. That's one thing Haitian people need to realize. UN is business. It's like you say you call people, you call countries friends of Haiti. There's not friends in politics and stuff like that. It's just interest. Canada got their own interest in Haiti, US friends. It's not a question of friends. They're not your friends. They may make deal with you. And I don't know what we got to do something to open the eyes of Haitian people so they can see it's about them. We need to come together with a plan to make it work. Nobody will do that for you. The UN will never make it really work for you. How many places the UN have been, that's really work, where it's really work? It's all about money. Money. People just making money and make fun of poor countries, They just Haitian need to wake up and say, we got to do it. Like President Obama said, yes, we can. If Haitian people can say that, we can. And we can. We are capable of. In the dark ages, during slavery, people come all over from Africa, different dialect and stuff like that. And they put together and do a revolution. They change things around. See? Even, the lack of communication, they happen to do good things. Why now? We all speak fluent Creole. We understand each other. So we can come up with a plan to do something to change things, if we're willing to.
That's a powerful thought, and it's a message that I subscribe to, that I believe is true. One thing I'm gonna do real quickly, so with the audio, I could hear the bottles a little bit. So I'm just gonna grab some of the bottles, the ones that are closer to the sound.
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, the microphone's very sensitive,
Yeah.
so it picks up a lot. Let me hear the mic. You can sit down and let me see if I'm hearing it. It's not as bad.
Okay.
Yeah, because it'll take too long to get everything. It's not as bad. As long as the ones that are closest to us
Yeah.
are down, I think we're good.
There's that particle one right there. This one. Gee, let's see.
Yeah, we're good.
They just flying all over there.
Well, nah, it won't be because it's like that's being held tightly.
Is that what they were though? They were.
They weren't flying. It's just you can hear them rattling with the wind. All right. So, 9. Pause it. Let's record again. Everything looks good. And go ahead and clap again. All right. Now we're good. So now I want to go back to the other question where we left off. Before we start talking about the work ethic, we're talking about do the Haitians who chose to leave, do they not love their country? And elaborate on that.
Well, a Haitian who left the country, it's not a question of not like the country. Sometimes people are in a situation, it's like your home. You need to get out the country in order to breathe well. You need to go out to get knowledge and come back. Some of them, they really like the country. They will even die for the country. A lot of people left the country, cannot come. It's because of politics. Political situation run them off. Some of them, they just run for their lives. And they really want to come back. But sometimes they get into a situation into the foreign country, wherever they are. They get used to so much stuff, and now to see themselves coming back to Haiti, and where they do not have access to internet, electricity, mostly, insecurity. And a lot of them, they stay because of their kids. They got young kids. They want them to have a better education. Because, the education system here, it is for a few people that can afford it, mostly. A lot of parents cannot afford a good school for your child. So they had to stay overseas till the child can be on their own in order to come back. And some of them, unfortunately, doesn't make it back because the situation just keep getting worse and worse. So some of them had to stay. But I know a lot of them, they would like to come. And some of them probably just wait for somebody to encourage them to come. Sometimes it's just a lack of encouragement. A lot of people are very discouraging. There are some people that's very, very negative. People only, somebody will come to Haiti and they will go back. All they can, the only image they remind of is just negatives. And it's not all bad about Haiti. It's not all bad about Haiti. Well, this is the first country, as I would say, on earth that have all kind of religions. And we all get well together in Haiti. We got Muslim in Haiti now. We got, Voodoo people, Catholic, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventists, you know, Jehovah's Witness. We all get along together. My best friend, my wife's best friend in our wedding, she's Catholic. We're Baptist. You know, our best friend next door, she's Jehovah's Witness, and we never get in a fight. So so I think this is it's not all negatives and bad about Haiti. Those people, they just need to see a different picture, you know, to hear different history about Haiti in order for them to come back. You know, I've been to Canada not too long, you know. I met a young lady. She's been for over 20 years in Canada, never come back to Haiti. All she heard is whatever they said over the news. Most of the media just show you downtown Port-au-Prince. Well, downtown Port-au-Prince is not Haiti. It's just a little place in a little corner of Haiti. But the thing is, that's where you got that's where everything just happened. That's where everything going on in Port-au-Prince. But Port-au-Prince is not Haiti. Some people never see the rest of the picture. That's why.
And so you mentioned that some Haitians are dying to come back to Haiti, but they just need some encouragement. And you know, I take your comments about being seen a different picture is one way of encouragement. Just in general, what are different things that can be done, in your opinion, you know, to encourage the Haitians abroad to come back and give back?
Well, another thing that can encourage them, there are a lot of things, you know. Everybody that's left the country, they got different reasons, you know. There are various reasons for that. Some of them, they want, like I said before, for security reasons. Some of them because of the education system. Some of them because of the business situation. They cannot make it throughout the business. They want to try something else. You know, it's like me sent my daughter overseas, you know, for school after the earthquake. Because some of them, just because they're looking for a better life somewhere else. But they still have their patriotism inside. They still have that. Some of them do not lose that. And as for the government who's asking people to come back now, they need to do an effort, you know, to make things better for those people to come back. Because I know a lot of Haitians are willing to come back to their country to help and support, to invest their knowledge, their money, their time in Haiti.
So it seems like you almost have two things that need to be reconciled. You have the Haitians that are dying to come back. You know, I'd say the majority of them kind of wanted to improve and become safe enough to come back. They just want some type of a surety that they can come back. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but they just have to be able to be comfortable to come back. But at the same time, if these people, the cream of the crop, aren't there to make it better and worth coming back, you know, like, it almost seems like one side has to give, you know. It won't happen at the same time. What do you think is more likely? Is it more likely that things will get better to allow the Haitian abroad to come back, or that the Haitians abroad need to just sacrifice and, you know, and come back and help it get better for more to come?
I think the Haitians abroad need to contribute into making things better. They got their part to play in it too. You cannot just sit back, relax, and just watching the show and you think it will get better. It's a win-win situation here. You got to do something wherever you are to make it happen. Don't just wait to see things happen. Do your part. Do your part of it. And then even if it's just put pressure onto government people to do things, do it. Do it. I mean, it will never be like 100% proof or secure in Haiti. It's not that way anywhere in the world. You know, people get killed on the road of New York every second. If you got to look over the statistics, you know. In France right now, they got a city, you know, where even police officers cannot get in because of the violence there. You know, in Jamaica it's worse than Haiti. Kidnapping is worse over Mexico and Brazil than it is in Haiti, but people still traveling in Mexico. People still traveling in Brazil, in Jamaica. So we just need to make things better in order for those people to be able to come back to their country.
That's powerful. So let's stay on the topic of insecurity, because there seems to be that fear, you know, from individuals, not just Haitians abroad, but you know, some non-Haitians too. But you know, we'll more so talk about the Haitians abroad, just the fear that exists. Tell me, one, is it valid, you know, and what's to be done, because the situations, unless someone does something about it, they will still exist, you know. But okay, so tell me more about the fear and what needs to be done, you know, either to overcome or to work with the situation at hand to improve it. So the first question would be, okay, the Haitians abroad, you know, some of them have a fear to come back, and is it legitimate, and what is there to fear?
Well, that fear, a lot of people have that because of, like we said, security. But you can have the same fear going to a grocery store in a foreign country. In Haiti, because of everything just pile up in only one little corner, things just keep happening in that same little corner. Because, for example, that's where, you know, the palace is right there, the national airport is right there, you know, everything just pile up in one little corner. So, and everybody just got the spotlight right there. So that's what everybody's watching. So we can. It's not too difficult to make it better for you know, to help those people into their fear. For example, let's talk about like Cité Soleil. Cité Soleil is very notorious, you know. They got that reputation. That's where all the gangs and stuff. That's where they live. Okay. You got an organization coming, NGOs coming, and say they had a program. You give up your guns and we'll do this for you. We'll put you back to school. And then, okay, that person give up his gun and go to school. But after school, do you have a job opportunity for that person? After this school, you just open up a food court for them, you know, with 50 cents they can eat and have a drink. Well, for how long? For a family man who got 2-3 kids, that's not enough. That's right, you probably feed them for the day, but he still need money to spend on his family. There are some things like clothing, shoes, school, and stuff like that they do not get from you. So I think they need to arrange a better deal with those persons. Create jobs for them. Because some of them, that's all they got is their guns. I'm not saying that's right. They have to use it. It's just because they doesn't know better, that's why they use it. I've been kidnapped.
You have personally?
I have personally been kidnapped in this country. It's not that I like it. But that I'm not going to say, I'm going to give up on my homeland for that. It could happen to me anywhere else. Crazy things happen anywhere in this world. So what I'm saying is, we need, somehow, the government need to manage. Because what's created the insecurity is the poverty. If those guys cannot have a job, if they can find a job to take care of their family, they won't be on the roadside, doing crazy stuff like that all day. If people can get busy doing something in this country, too many people just walking along the roadside doing nothing, just curious people stay there to watch what's going on, what happened, We need to create jobs for them. Not just try to give them a little bit of food now and then, That's not enough. We need a solid program. That's what you call people's responsibility. You don't try to take that away from a man. Don't tell me that you'll feed my family for me. It is my duty. It is my responsibility to feed my family. Help me to feed my family by giving me a job. If you take their gun away, you put them to school, give them a job to provide for their own self, for their family. You cannot try to take the responsibility from them. It's like I'm gonna have to wait to cross the street till somebody come and walk me across, or a policeman hold my hand to walk me. I got my responsibility for myself and my family. Hold them responsible for their own self. And I think that will change the situation.
And I completely, we see eye to eye. I completely agree with you because, it just goes back to what you said, teaching someone to fish and having a pond available to fish from, because if you just teach them to fish, but there's no ponds, there's no rivers, they'll have a skill but still not be able to do anything. So I completely agree with you there. One thing that I want to go back to is I wasn't aware that you personally, were kidnapped before. And, I'd like to hear just the stories, the chain of events, how it happened, and how is it that you're still here with us today. So tell me about your kidnapping.
Well, I was kidnapped in July, the 31st of July 2005. Me and Papa Joe, we were going to the airport. I was about to drop him on a Sunday morning to the airport to go back home, Arkansas.
Wait a minute. Okay, start over again because I'm sorry.
Okay.
Begin over again because the camera stopped recording. Okay, so now we're rolling. Tell me about your kidnapping situation.
I got kidnapped in 31st of July 2005. I was going to the airport on a Sunday morning to drop Papa Joe. Was on his way to go back home in Arkansas. And then it was about 9 in the morning. And on their way to Nazon to cross Delmas and then go to the airport. So a bunch of young guys, pulled guns on us, stopped the vehicles and took over the vehicles. And, they pulled me out behind the wheel. One of them pulled guns behind my head, walked me to a ditch. I thought that's where he was about to shoot me and leave me there to take the vehicles. Fortunately, he didn't shot me. So when I turned back, I heard that when I heard the wheel spinning, so I turned back, I saw him and a bunch of others took the vehicles with Papa Joe inside and getting into a different place. So they left me on the road I finally stopped somebody, give me a ride to a police point. So called on the police, called the UN, which I work for, and then they managed after several, not too long, but after several hours, couple hours, they freed Papa Joe, gave him the vehicle to work out. I don't know if you want me to get in any details.
Yes, I would like you to go into as much detail as you can.
They hit him, kicked him, shot by his ear, you know, several shots, hit him with gunshot barrels, you know, and slamming on the concrete, mashes his knee was swelling, and they do some horrible things to him. So by the grace of God, they managed to set him free, give him the vehicles and tell him to go get $100,000 to bring it to them, you know, some sort of a joke, I think. So give him his passport, but they stole his wedding rings. They stole like me, my wallet, camera, you know, whatever they can get in that vehicle. But after 2-3 hours, he was free. And he's right here, he's here in Haiti working.
We'll wait a little bit for the sound because the clock's on.
Yeah, there's a truck back there.
Okay. All right. Wow. So tell me about just the chain of events, like the details of the chain of events, because I'm sure, you know, once you noticed that the vehicle was gone, Papa Joe was gone, you know, there were certain things that you did. You mentioned that you got a ride to the police station, contacted the UN, but I don't know the details as far as when Norma was informed, and just, you know, walk me through the chain of events from the point where you heard the car moving and then to the point when Joe was returned back to safety.
Well,
wait.
Oh man, it's getting worse.
Yeah. Let me see. You think they're gonna be using that long?
No, probably to
just to
drill a hole for the pipe.
Okay. So you mentioned that some Haitians are dying to come back to Haiti, but they just need some encouragement. And you know, I take your comments about being seen a different picture is one way of encouragement. Just in general, what are different things that can be done, in your opinion, you know, to encourage the Haitians abroad to come back and give back?
Well, another thing that can encourage them, there are a lot of things, you know. Everybody that's left the country, they got different reasons, you know. There are various reasons for that. Some of them, they want, like I said before, for security reasons. Some of them because of the education system. Some of them because of the business situation. They cannot make it throughout the business. They want to try something else. You know, it's like me sent my daughter overseas, you know, for school after the earthquake. Because some of them, just because they're looking for a better life somewhere else. But they still have their patriotism inside. They still have that. Some of them do not lose that. And as for the government who's asking people to come back now, they need to do an effort, you know, to make things better for those people to come back. Because I know a lot of Haitians are willing to come back to their country to help and support, to invest their knowledge, their money, their time in Haiti.
So it seems like you almost have two things that need to be reconciled. You have the Haitians that are dying to come back. You know, I'd say the majority of them kind of wanted to improve and become safe enough to come back. They just want some type of a surety that they can come back. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but they just
Yeah.
have to be able to be comfortable to come back. But at the same time, if these people, the cream of the crop, aren't there to make it better and worth coming back, you know, like it almost seems like one side has to give, you know. It won't happen at the same time. What do you think is more likely? Is it more likely that things will get better to allow the Haitian abroad to come back, or that the Haitians abroad need to just sacrifice and, you know, and come back and help it get better for more to come?
I think the Haitians abroad need to contribute into making things better. They got their part to play in it too. You cannot just sit back, relax, and just watching the show and you think it will get better. It's a win-win situation here. You got to do something wherever you are to make it happen. Don't just wait to see things happen. Do your part. Do your part of it. And then even if it's just put pressure onto government people to do things, do it. Do it. I mean, it will never be like 100% proof or secure in Haiti. It's not that way anywhere in the world. You know, people get killed on the road of New York every second. If you got to look over the statistics, you know. In France right now, they got a city, you know, where even police officers cannot get in because of the violence there. You know, in Jamaica is worse than Haiti. Kidnapping is worse over Mexico and Brazil than it is in Haiti, but people still thriving in Mexico. People still thriving in Brazil, in Jamaica. So we just need to make things better in order for those people to be able to come back to their country.
That's powerful. So let's stay on the topic of insecurity, because there seems to be that fear, you know, from individuals, not just Haitians abroad, but, you know, some non-Haitians too. But, you know, we'll more so talk about the Haitians abroad, just the fear that exists. Tell me, one, is it valid, you know, and what's to be done, because the situations, unless someone does something about it, they will still exist, you know. But okay, so tell me more about the fear and what needs to be done, you know, either to overcome or to work with the situation at hand to improve it. So the first question would be, okay, the Haitians abroad, you know, some of them have a fear to come back, and is it legitimate, and what is there to fear?
Well, that fear, a lot of people have that because of, like we said, security. But you can have the same fear going to a grocery store in a foreign country. In Haiti, because of everything just pile up in only one little corner, things just keep happening in that same little corner. Because, for example, that's where, you know, the palace is right there, the national airport is right there, you know, everything just pile up in one little corner. So, and everybody just got the spotlight right there. So that's what everybody's watching. So we can. It's not too difficult to make it better for you know, to help those people into their fear. For example, let's talk about like Cité Soleil. Cité Soleil is very notorious, you know. They got that reputation. That's where all the gangs and stuff. That's where they live. Okay. You got an organization coming, NGOs coming, and say they had a program. You give up your guns and we'll do this for you. We'll put you back to school. And then, okay, that person give up his gun and go to school. But after school, do you have a job opportunity for that person? After this school, you just open up a food court for them, you know, with 50 cents they can eat and have a drink. Well, for how long? For a family man, we got 2, 3 kids, that's not enough. That's right, you probably feed them for the day, but he still need money to spend on his family. There are some things like clothing, shoes, school, and stuff like that they do not get from you. So I think they need to arrange a better deal with those persons. Create jobs for them. Because some of them, that's all they got is their guns. I'm not saying that's right. They have to use it. It's just because they doesn't know better, that's why they use it. I've been kidnapped.
You have personally?
I have personally been kidnapped in this country. It's not that I like it. But that I'm not going to say, you know, I'm going to give up on my homeland for that. It could happen to me anywhere else. You know, crazy things happen anywhere in this world. So what I'm saying is, we need, somehow, the government need to manage. Because what's created the insecurity is the poverty. If those guys cannot have a job, if they can find a job to take care of the family, they won't be on the roadside, you know, doing crazy stuff like that all day. If people can get busy doing something in this country, too many people just walking, walking along the roadside doing nothing, just curious people stay there to watch what's going on, what happened, you know. We need to create jobs for them. Not just try to give them a little bit of food now and then, you know. That's not enough. We need a solid program. That's what you call people's responsibility. You don't try to take that away from a man. Don't tell me that you'll feed my family for me. It is my duty, it is my responsibility to feed my family. Help me to feed my family by giving me a job. You know, if you take their gun away, you put them to school, give them a job to provide for their own self, for their family. You cannot try to take the responsibility from them. It's like I'm gonna have to wait to cross the street till somebody come and walk me across, or a policeman hold my hand to walk me. I got my responsibility for myself and my family. Hold them responsible for their own self. And I think that will change the situation.
And I completely, you know, we see eye to eye. I completely agree with you because, you know, it just goes back to what you said, you know, teaching someone to fish and having a pond available,
Yeah.
you know, to fish from, you know, because if you just teach them to fish, but there's no ponds, there's no rivers, they'll have a skill but still not be able to do anything. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with you there. One thing that I want to go back to is I wasn't aware that you personally, you know, were kidnapped before. And, you know, I'd like to hear just the stories, the chain of events, how it happened, and how is it that you're still here with us today. So tell me about your kidnapping.
Well, I was kidnapped in July, the 31st of July 2005. Me and Papa Joe, we were going to the airport. I was about to drop him on a Sunday morning to the airport to go back home, Arkansas.
Wait a minute. Okay, start over again because I'm sorry.
Okay.
Begin over again because the camera stopped recording. Okay, so now we're rolling. tell me about your kidnapping situation.
I got kidnapped in 31st of July 2005. I was going to the airport on a Sunday morning to drop Papa Joe. Was on his way to go back home in Arkansas. And then it was about 9 in the morning, and on their way to Nazon to cross Delmas and then go to the airport. So a bunch of young guys, pulled guns on us, stopped the vehicles and took over the vehicles. And they pulled me out behind the wheel. One of them pulled guns behind my head, walked me to a ditch. I thought that's where he was about to shoot me and leave me there to take the vehicles. Fortunately, he didn't shoot me. So when I turned back, I heard that when I heard the wheel spinning, so I turned back, I saw him and a bunch of others took the vehicles with Papa Joe inside and getting into a different place. So they were left me on the road. I finally stopped somebody, give me a ride to a police point. So called on the police, called the UN, which I work for. And then they managed, after several, not too long, but after several hours, couple hours, they freed Papa Joe, gave him the vehicle to work out. I don't know if you want me to get in any details.
Yes, I would like you to go into as much detail as you can.
They hit him, kicked him, shot by his ear, several shots, hit him with gunshot barrels, and slamming on the concrete, mashes his knee was swelling, and they do some horrible things to him. So by the grace of God, they managed to set him free, give him the vehicles and tell him to go get $100,000 to bring it to them, some sort of a joke, I think. So give him his passport, but they stole his wedding rings. They stole like me and my wallets, camera, whatever they can get in that vehicle. But after 2-3 hours, he was free. And he's right here, he's here in Haiti working.
We'll wait a little bit for the sound because the clock's on.
Yeah, there's a truck back there.
Okay. All right. Wow. So tell me about just the chain of events, like the details of the chain of events, because I'm sure, once you noticed that the vehicle was gone, Papa Joe was gone, there were certain things that you did. You mentioned that you got a ride to the police station, contacted the UN, but I don't know the details as far as when Norma was informed, and just, walk me through the chain of events from the point where you heard the car moving and then to the point when Joe was returned back to safety.
Well,
wait.
Oh man, it's getting worse.
Yeah. Let me see. You think they're gonna be using that long?
No, probably to
just to
drill a hole for the pipe.
Okay. All right, you ready? And go ahead and clap again. Okay, and where we left off is, we're talking about the details of the kidnapping and the chain of events from the moment when you turned around, saw the car leaving with Papa Joe, to the moment that he was brought back to safety and you saw him again. So tell me about the details of that chain of events.
Well, to picking up on that chain of events is when I turned back and they seen him took that vehicle with him and go. You know, all kind of things come to my mind. What's gonna happen? Because right there, there's a Haitian writer. They got there and killed him right there in the same spot where we were. So finally, I found a bunch of people going to church that Sunday morning, give me a ride to the police station, and I told them my story. And then after make a phone call and call the UN to support me, and stay there for a while. We monitored the radios, you know, the police were doing this, doing that, and the UN doing this, doing that. So after times passed by, one of the officers said, we find him. So instantly, for the answers, when they said that we find him, I passed out. The next thing I know, I saw me with the Red Cross. Because when they said that we found him, I said, well, to me, how do they find him? Is he dead? Is he still alive? Well, it's like it was a place of no mercy, so at first maybe they just find his body. So I think that's what caused me to pass out. It's not because I'm a wimp or something, but you know, leaving the situation, you know. So when I come to myself again, so the Red Cross want to go with me to hospital. I said, no, I'm not going to hospital till I see him. So he said, well, we need to do this for you, we need to do that. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere till I see him. Since he was on a vehicle, the police groups that find him, they took him to a police station to interview him, to question him, you know, about what happened. And then my friend in a UN vehicle took me to the same police station to interview me, to question me, you know, and stuff like that. We were into a different place. And then I met him where he was. And then they want to interview him separately and then hear my history of it. So the things about it is in his pain, you know, when those guys were trying to pin me down for some reason, but they were just trying to do their job, question me like if I wasn't like involved or, you know. So he was saying, no, he's my son. So and finally, after hours, they let us go. He cannot walk. He cannot move his body. He sores all over, you know. We called his wife. Norma was down at Christianville, you know, giving medication and food to people down there. My wife was with her, so they both came up there, you know, to our rescue that Sunday afternoon. And after all of that, he managed to leave the country, you know, put him on another flight after 2-3 days, I think. He left the country. I thought he'll never come back to Haiti. You know, as a foreigner, you know, I thought he'll never come back. And then we just keep in touch over the phone. We talk each time possible. And then his wife diagnosed with cancer the same year. So it was about a year. And then in July 2006, make it a year, he was back in Haiti, working in Haiti again. So when people ask him, you know, people within his family, kids doesn't want him to come back. He said, you know, thugs not gonna keep him from working for the Lord. So his answer was, you know, that could happen to him in New York City, That could happen to him in a lot of places in the U.S. So why not keep working for the Lord? So, I mean, history like that make you stronger. He's a tough guy. He's a good guy. And we're back together in Joy House right now. He's playing with my son down there and Norma. So enjoy the ride again.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story.
Yep, been there, done that.
And so my last follow-up question about this. So you didn't think that he would come back. Probably none of the other young men thought he was gonna come back.
None of them.
And he came back. And what did that mean to you, to see Joe, to have endured that, and then to come back to Haiti? What did it mean to you and the young men?
That's meant a lot to me.
Remember to restate the question in the answer.
Yeah. For me to see him come back, that's meant a lot to me and my team. That's a man who is really determined to achieve his objective, to achieve his goal. That's a man who doesn't, give up on something that he started because of pain, because of something that happened, because it's not easy, If you're always looking for easy thing to do, you'll never achieve big thing. Life is not easy. Life is not fair. That's what all that taught to me. That tell me a lot of things, I admire his courage, and that gave me courage, And these are things that keep me going with my personal life. Falling down doesn't make you a failure for that, but staying down does. We'll fail, but we get up and move on. We learn from our failure, and we keep going ahead. That's life. That's how it is. You're soldiers, We're at war. They shout at you, you might get hit. You'll get up and keep moving to attain your goal, your objective. That's life. That's the way it is.
And so, speaking of falling down, getting up, and keeping to move forward, you could say, in a sense, that Haiti fell down as a country on January 12th, 2010. Tell me personally about that day personally, and then how the Joy House was able to get up and keep moving. But tell me about that day in your life. What was that day like? Where were you when it happened, and the chain of events that happened? And what before you start, I'm gonna move you up just a little bit again, because I see where the sun here, and then clap again. Okay, so the question is, tell me about, move this light. Yeah, I think you're probably good. I think you're good. Okay, good. Yeah, tell me about the day of January 12th, 2010, and the chain of events for that day in your personal life, and then with the Joy House.
January the 12th, 2010, earthquake hit. Was quite some experience. Nobody expecting that. My generation, nobody ever had, of earthquake. Read about it over a book, but never see things like that happen in Haiti for over 100 years, almost 200 years, like they said. That day I was at work in a gym working out, after my duty as a firefighter. I was in a gym working out, when it hit. When I first heard it, I thought it was a dozer behind the wall. And all of a sudden, things start shaking over, moving over, turning, twisted. So I was behind a wall about two times higher than this. And I was almost hit by the wall. And there's a Canadian security officer just busted into it. They'll say, earthquake, everybody get out. And everybody's running for their lives. And then I managed to get out. But when I get out, everything still remains, shaking, the ground still shaking, So after that was it. After I said, well, I'll just take a shower and go home. And then I saw there's some broken soldiers on stretchers coming. Some fell off, a building by the aviation part of the base. I said, what? And I had a friend of mine, an African guy, he was already on his way home, calling over there, Roland, Stanley, you get the ambulance, there's people laying on the road, vehicle falling over and stuff like that. I said, what? I said, go get, and then as we walked by to the fire station, the chief said, well, guys, I got bad news. The headquarters down with over 600 people were in there. Some were managed, some were already out on their way home. But there's Chinese delegation, number one, general police commissioner, everybody on the concrete. 6-story building, all down. Said, well, we'll take this, we'll take that, and then I was the one to get the biggest fire engine to drive. And we will manage to make it from the airport to John Brown, if you know John Brown, Boudon, to the Hotel Christopher, that's the headquarters for the UN back then. Roadblock everywhere. There was road construction. I managed to climb over a pile of dirt with a truck full of water, and then somebody halfway killed me with a rock because we didn't stop to help them. Busted the window on the side of my hand, busted it, hit my hand, smashed my fingers on the steering wheel, with a 6-wheel truck, full of water going up a hill. I managed, I didn't panic, hold it with one hand and keep going. No first aid. So it was about midnight, 1 in the morning when he made it to the headquarters. It's like when you get there, to make the story short, you didn't know where to start. It was way too much. On the road, you got to see hundreds, thousands of people, people, 3-4 people, dead bodies behind the pickup trucks, on wheelbarrows, on the door, people trying. That was shock, a big shock. And then I'm getting to get scared because I had no news of my family. My 2 girls, my wife in the house by themselves. No communication. I cannot contact them. And me, I got to trying to pull out people under concrete for the UN. And I don't even know what's going on with my own family. So that was a panic situation for me. I even started to cry, to be honest with you, because no news. I tried to call, I happened to lose my phone. So it was 3 o'clock when I received a phone call a friend just called, saying my family is okay. That was a release. But still, they were on the street. No place to go, no place to sleep. And my daughter, Norma, she was like, she was like 4 years old. 3 going to be 4 years old. And Haiti was on the street with her. This was after 5 days. I can make it back home because I had to stay and help. So they managed to go to my mother-in-law. They got the plastic tops, open it on the roadside. They were stay behind it, under it. I mean, that's the worst situation, I have to face in my life. Besides, kidnapping. That was even worse. That was worse than kidnapping to me.
And what made it worse?
Well, it's like Haiti was on the lowest level that day. You cannot count the dead bodies. If you happen to see that, people they were dumping people by truck's load, you had a feeling of what I'm telling you. It's like you are in front of a situation, you don't know what to do. You don't know who to help. People are crying, here people crying there. Back then we didn't have any help till the next day when the Brazilian and the Chinese people come to dig out their own people. That's where we get help. You're watching somebody's dying under the concrete, and you cannot remove that person. You got to watch them die in front of your eye. That's the worst situation to face. I wish I never had to see things like that in my life. But now the question is, how do Haiti will manage to get back?
How does Haiti rebound?
How will we manage? Just Christians of will.
And one of the things that I heard on the news, and you can never fully, trust, everything you hear on the news, but I heard that was one day where Haitians came together and were helping one another and were sacrificing for one another. And put everything else to the side, all the differences, all of,
I'm telling you, that day, you got to see that the way Haitian people help and support each other. You will sleep on a piece of cardboard with 4 or 5 different people that you never met in your entire life, the night. A small bottle of water, you will share it with 10 different people that you never knew in your life. Somebody will cook something, a little bit of rice, and share it with people that he never knew in his entire life. If Haitian people could remain with that same attitude, we'll be the best nation on earth. If we just keep on helping each other the way it happened after earthquake, maybe Haitians should put in their mind it's earthquake just happened again. And because to me that was the day Haitian people help Haitian people. They help each other. They support each other. You got to go probably, let's say for example, a family, you got your son, your brother or sister on the concrete somewhere in a school somewhere. People manage, the elders will stay behind to take care of the youngsters, the babies, the kids for you so you can go out and help. So that was the best time to in Haitian history, the time they were willing to help each other.
And we're united.
And they were united. They were one nation that day.
That's powerful, you know. And as you're saying that, like, it just brings chills to my body because it tells us that we do have it within us. You know, it's inside us. It's within us. You know, it just.
Yeah, situation like that, you know, Haitian people put away all the selfishness and united. Nothing can happen. We need to stay with that positive attitude toward each other. That's what we need to get back on our feet again. That's what we need.
And so, I've asked you pretty much all the questions that I planned for today's interview. You know, tomorrow on the way to your job, you know, we'll film you and ask you some questions along the way. But you know, the interview's complete for today. But if there's anything else that's on your mind, you know, no matter what it relates to, that you would just like to share with the audience of viewers who will watch this documentary, feel free to take the time now to share just anything that's on your mind related to, you know, just what it will take to rebuild Haiti, or any topic that you would like. So this is your open floor.
Well, one thing I would like to share with my Haitian friends is we need to be united again as a family. We need to stop looking for our own advantage all the time and look for the others. As like for me, I started something with Joe and Norma, as you know. And then I got all those boys and girls that were raised with me in that orphanage. We are all working together now with one objective: to make things better. Trying to make a change into our community, into the Gracie community. And I think if Haitian people will have the same attitude in every neighborhood, in every single place into the regions of Haiti, if they can come together with a common objective, with a common goal to make things better, you know, to bring the the participation into the community, we'll change Haiti, little by little. First things Haitian people need to do is change their mentality. We need to think differently now in order to move on. That's all it will take.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Oh man. Wow.
It's a very powerful interview.